he got older, his parents could see that he was learning to care about hurts and needs of others. If he knew a way to help someone, he would. Around the dinner table one evening, Paul shared, "Daddy, you know, Barbara and her brother don't have warm clothes to wear to school." Paul continued talking while staring into the bowl of soup he was stirring slowly. "It's getting awfully cold these days. Their mama doesn't make a lot of money, so they can't get all the things they need." The Grant family didn't hear any more about this until one chilly day when Paul got off the school bus without his coat. "Son, how could you leave your coat at school on such a cold day?" asked Mr. Grant at the bus stop. "It's not at school," replied Paul softly. "Well, did you leave it on the bus?" "Let's ask the bus driver to look for it. He could find it," suggested Mr. Grant as he turned to speak to the bus driver. "No, Daddy." Paul tugged at his father's coat to stop him. "It's not on the bus." Paul lowered his head and then looked up at his father. Mr. Grant stopped. He did not continue to question Paul about the coat. He remembered Paul's concern about his friends not having warm winter clothing. Wow. Paul must have given his coat to one of those children. What could Mr. Grant say? Paul was doing the same thing he had seen his father do for others in need. "Let's go home, son. You must be freezing." Mr. Grant put his big arm around Paul and held him close as they walked home. Paul was growing bigger. His appetite was growing too. He could eat a dozen eggs and toast for breakfast and 5 hamburgers for lunch if his mother would let him. If his mother would let him. In sixth grade, Paul began to compete as a runner. He was very careful about putting only healthy foods into his growing body. He knew junk food would not help him win races, so he had to make a decision to eat what was right. It took a lot of determination. Paul's healthy choices paid off. "Mama, I did it! I won! The final race is Saturday," shouted Paul as he burst into the house. "When can we get my new shoes? I want to do my best." "Oh, baby, I don't think we'll be able to afford them," said his mother sadly. "Bring me those old shoes. I can mend them so they're good as new." Paul looked disappointed, but did as his mother said. Saturday came and Paul lined up for the big race. He didn't care that his shoes were almost worn out. He knew he was fast and could run the race barefooted if he had to. "Runners to your mark," shouted the official. The Grants watched their son line up. "I remember how Jacob and I used to use a stick to mark the starting line of our races," thought Paul. "That time he tied my foot to the tree. I didn't have a chance, but no tree's keeping me back now." Crack went the gun. Paul's feet flew down the track just like that little jackrabbit in his backyard so many years ago. He was in the lead. The race was almost won. There was the finish line. Just a few more feet. The crowd cheered. "Run, baby, run!" shouted Mrs. Grant. "Oh no, it can't be," moaned Paul. A gasp arose from the crowd as they watched Paul stumble to the ground just short of the finish line. His repaired shoe had ripped apart and had caused him to fall. Paul lay there in the cinders. He knew his mother would feel responsible. He comforted her with a hug after the race. "It's just a race, Mama. It's just a race." Running was important to Paul, but pleasing God was even more important. He still wanted to be a preacher when he was 14 years old. But one day he learned that telling people what the Bible said was only part of what it meant to be a preacher. That evening, on the way to a revival meeting in a nearby church, Paul said, "Jacob, I have been feeling there is something missing in my life. Like a piece of the jigsaw puzzle is not in place yet. It really bugs me. What's wrong? I have a good home. I do well in sports and choir, but those things are not the answer. I still have this empty feeling inside." They had become best friends and looked to each other for advice, but Jacob did not have an answer for his younger brother. During the service, as the preacher spoke, Paul thought, I know all about God, but I don't know him personally. That's what is missing. I haven't really invited Jesus into my heart and let him lead and take control of my life. That night, Paul asked Jesus to be his Savior, and the empty feeling inside vanished. His heart was singing as he remembered God's promise to always be with him.
Amen.